Hi, it's Alison Canavan, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Maria Donlan from Life Cleanse. How are you, Maria?
Great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Now, I have been so excited to have you do this video with me today, primarily because I'm about to upgrade my juicer. I've been juicing for a few years, and if you watched my videos last month, you will know that this is the juicer I've been using for a couple of years. But I find it very confusing when I'm trying to choose between the different types of juicers. There's so many different price points out there. It's so difficult to know unless you're an expert. Is there a difference? What is the difference? But I'll start by saying the one thing I've noticed. I will say my juicer it's a couple of years old now.
Okay.
I think it cost me about €130. But I suppose through time as well, which might be a factor, I seem to be going through an enormous amount of produce for very little juice. Is that right?
It is something that can happen. So what you're using here, Alison, is a centrifugal juicer.
Okay.
The way that works, it just means that it's rotating around a central. You see this chute that you have
in the middle,
here?
Yes.
Yeah, and there's a motor in the center, and it's all rotating, spinning quite quickly around that. It then pushes the juice out to the outside, which is how it's coming out.
Yes.
And you would find with using that versus say moving over to the masticating juicers, you will be using a lot more produce.
Okay, when you're saying the word masticating, what does that mean?
Yeah, so simply put it actually means chewing. When you chew food, you're masticating food. So what happens is they have what's called an auger, which is this central part here. And this rotates very slowly. So you probably also hear people say like buzzwords, cold pressing.
Yes.
You know, everyone wants cold pressed juice now. That relates to the speed at which this moves.
Okay.
So because this auger rotates at such a slow speed, the reason this is beneficial versus the centrifugal is it's not introducing a lot of heat because it's not spinning quickly. It's actually moving really, really slowly. And it also prevents oxidation. So you're not getting as much oxygen mixed in as with
and
this.
And would I be right in saying that helps to protect the enzymes?
That's
as well?
exactly what it does. And that, for me, is one of the main reasons that I moved a couple of years ago from the centrifugal to
I'm actually getting incredibly excited because I am going to make the move. Now, if there's someone who, so it's February. Can I just say that there's probably been loads of juicers all over the country who have been used to death.
January.
And we're February and they're probably already gathering just a little bit of dust. So I think there's probably long-term juicers, somebody that juices a couple of times a week. If I wanted to start off juicing, are you better to make the investment or are you better to just start with the way I did?
What I think is if you know it's something you want to introduce into your life long term.
I suppose if you drink juices regularly and you're paying, I don't know, €5, €5.50 when you're out and about for juices.
Well, you're gonna save your money really, really quickly. But then the other way to look at it, I suppose, if you're looking at starting juicing, I think time and efficiency can help in building a habit. And you'll find the biggest thing for me with my day-to-day is the cleaning of these versus this. Are you still scrubbing that mesh every day, trying to get all the...
And I'll be honest with you, why I started making more smoothies as opposed to juices was because I used to wake up and go, oh, I love a juice today. I can't deal with the cleaning. Now,
it's the cleaning,
I'm not saying that it takes a ridiculous amount of time.
No, it's not. But when you want it first thing in the morning and then you want to go about your busy day, what I find with this is it's just a dream. It's like a super quick rinse of, because it's just this part that comes off to clean. You can see how quickly that lifts off. This is all the cleaning that happens.
Whereas with this, I have to lift this off. I have to take everything off. And see, I skip meals. So for me, I'm not saying to replace any meals with juices or smoothies, but if I'm on the run in the morning, I would rather have, a breakfast smoothie or a really good juice to get some nutrients into me rather than running on an empty stomach. Yeah. So I have to take this all apart. Oh, sorry. And I have to take this out and I have to scrub everything. So you're saying that as we move over to here, this makes things a lot easier.
It does, because what's really happening here, the juice is just going through this part. So if you look at the size of your mesh, this is your little mesh to scrub versus the size of that one.
You see how well worn and well used mine is now.
You can see the turmeric, obviously. Are you putting the turmeric in the juice?
I use so much turmeric, as you can guess, which is just amazing. But this has been well used and well loved, can I tell you as well?
Yeah, I mean, and if it's the way that you're getting your juice, if this is what you're using and that's what's making you get up and make your juice every day, great. But it is good to kind of think of, say, also I like to look at it in terms of the produce. So like you say, you will use less to get the juice out of these, and then also for the food wastage element of that. You know, I hate to
so
see
less
like,
food wastage.
Yeah, and if you're getting like,
easier to clean.
much easier.
Now on to the
quicker.
big question. We're talking about the money question.
And we are.
What's
like,
the difference?
Yeah. I mean, I would look at these masticating juicers really as like a long-term investment in your health, because they are, you know, quite pricey. So this one is $385.
Okay.
This one, which is the really newest top of the line Omega masticating juicer, that's $425.
Okay, when you're talking about top of the line, people might think they look quite similar. Are we looking at things like, you know, wheatgrass? Can you do wheatgrass in this? Like, what is the main difference between them?
And say the wheatgrass is actually a really good point for the difference again between the centrifugal and masticating, because wheatgrass and also leafy greens. I like to juice a lot of leafy greens. This won't deal with those.
No, it doesn't. I actually find that I put all my leafy greens through and I get very little juice.
Yeah, and you're just then kind of wasting the veg. Whereas because of the slow moving and the pressure, this will deal really well with the leafy greens and wheatgrass. And in terms of that pressure, one of the main changes they've made with this newest model, which is the Omega Sana, is you actually have an adjustable pressure. So it goes from 1 to 5. So if you have something that's a very high water content, maybe something citrusy, you can have it down at the 1 and that's going to be fine. But for things like your wheatgrass or leafy greens, you move up to the 4 and 5, and it's just again even increasing the pressure in here.
Can I just say, for anyone that likes juicing, this is very
it's
exciting.
Very exciting. This is amazing.
I'm looking at the dial and I'm actually getting really excited.
No, it is amazing. So you can
That's
adjust
what my
the
life has
pressure
become.
like that. And then in terms of the speed, so this one is an 80 RPM, which is the rate that it moves around. This one they've brought down to 70, so it's even slower. In terms of ease of use, the chute is just a little bit wider. So if you're, you know, really first thing in the morning,
don't have
busy
to chop
person,
things up.
less chopping. And then the sleek new design is another great feature.
Okay, so I would say long-term juicing, and for investment reasons, I know it's really expensive, I would go for the Rolls Royce of juicers. That is just a personal thing because I have been through a lot of juicers. This one has lasted me a long time. This, I would say, if you're on a budget but you still want to invest in your juicer, this is the one I go for. Remind us where we can buy it and how much it is.
Yeah, and just also on the lasting, these both come with a 15-year guarantee. So you are, it's built to last. You're going to have it.
A little bit more than 2.
These you can buy on my website, which is lifecleanse.ie.
Maria, thank you so much for joining us today, and happy juicing, everybody.